Okay. All right, let's do it. Good afternoon, New York. This is the third episode of the Jayson Buford Show. I'm your host, Jayson Buford. We have an illustrious guest.
Illustrious.
Again today. This is a foxhole guy for me. Not only personal life, but also just professional life. And sometimes we talk about things that's going on in culture, and we're like, why is anybody thinking about this in the same way we are? You know? Rich Juzwiak, what's up?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
What's going on?
I don't know. I was sick. My voice isn't 100%. It was so annoying because I was sick for a week, and then I was sick for another week, basically. I was at 85% for the second week. So I was sleeping every day. I took a nap, spitting up mucus. It hit my chest, so my workouts have not been up to par. And I feel like I'm putting myself back together from the inside.
You were not feeling well. In particular, was Super Bowl week. You were not feeling well.
Not feeling well then at all.
Yeah.
But also, even when I was feeling well, it'd be I'd have plans to go out, and it'd be 10, and I'd be like, I'm not doing that. I'm not leaving the house. And that's not usually what I do. I mean, I'm a plan keeper.
Yeah.
So it fucked me up. It was because I had traveled. And
where'd you go?
I went to Canada. I went to Whistler on a ski vacation, but I didn't ski. But it was with a bunch of guys in this beautiful house in the woods.
Yeah.
And so there was always somebody not skiing. I've never skied before. And so the one guy in the house that was taking a lesson, the day that he was taking it, I couldn't take it. And then I had work to do, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to ski. And actually, I didn't want to ski because I don't want to put myself in harm's way at all. I didn't feel like skiing, so why would I do an activity that I don't feel like doing that might end up with me with a broken limb?
Do you do that a lot, activities where you're going to a specific location, whether it be skiing or just a guy's trip in general?
I wouldn't say a lot. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but I wanted to do it specifically because of the guys' trip aspect of it.
Yeah.
And that part was great. We cooked dinner every night. We played games. We went out. It was Gay Pride Week in Whistler because gay pride kind of follows the season.
Yeah.
So it happens really late in Atlanta, for example. Obviously in New York, it's in the summertime here. And because this was a ski resort, it was there, although it wasn't particularly wild or anything.
Right.
There were gays there, but not an abundance, I would say.
I'm going to Hudson this weekend upstate, and they have their own kind of pride parade that's obviously much more low-key than whatever happens in New York.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the different kind of small town places have their own thing, but it's not this brand corporate thing that it is here.
Right.
You know?
What are you going to do in Hudson?
I don't know.
Just hang.
No,
I guess that's what you do.
Yeah. Me and Mrs. Collins are going to just hang out.
Nice. And then I went to Universal Studios Disney World for a very quick trip.
Oh, wow. What did you do there?
We went to Universal because we hadn't as a family gone to Universal in a while. And then we went to Magic Kingdom one of the days.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was actually just at Magic Kingdom in October. This is the least amount of time between visits for me.
Okay.
So it was kind of I really just did this,
Yeah, it's one of the things about you that's very unique. Is that
I wouldn't call myself a Disney gay, but I'm more than most people.
Yeah.
I will go. The thing is, I grew up on the Jersey Shore, so theme parks and rides and stuff like that are in my DNA.
Yeah.
So that it just feels right to go to a trip like that. So
absolutely.
I will always go to a theme park, always.
Word. Well, we are here to talk about the Academy Awards, the 2025 Academy Awards. I believe this is the 97th.
It is.
Yeah.
100's coming up.
Not a great year.
No.
For movies, in my opinion.
It started out shitty and pretty much kept it up.
Pretty much just kept being bad.
Yeah. But there was stuff that I liked, Challengers I liked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Love Lies Bleeding a lot, even though I have a big problem with the third act. Did you see that one?
I did not see that one.
I thought it was great. I mean, there are things about it that you could definitely pick apart, even down to kind of the aesthetic, which is it feels like the 80s. It doesn't necessarily take place in the 80s, but it might. and it looks like something that would play on TV in the 80s, which is exactly how I felt about Bones and All, the Luca Guadagnino movie.
Yes, which I did like.
I love that movie. That's actually my favorite Luca Guadagnino movie, which is a rare opinion for sure. That one just really
We will
works
definitely
for
be
me.
talking about Queer, by the way.
For sure. Queer and Challengers. I mean, that's, he's snubbed for both. But I thought that like the heat between the principal characters was amazing, and just the movie itself is really kind of, I don't know, it feels rogue in a way. It's a wild movie, you know, and it kind of never lets up. It's just that the third act has a lot of issues with a kind of Deus Ex Machina, or kind of like just steamrolling over the plot. Like, oh, we're not even going to talk about what went into that whole thing, even though it was obviously like, wait, how did that work? You know what I mean? Sometimes there are movies that just like fast forward through stuff, and it's like, okay, this is bad writing.
Yeah, I mean, Kirsten Stewart is like one of the, I think, better actresses of her generation.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think she's really good in this movie. Yeah, I recommend it. It's one to revisit for sure.
Absolutely. I actually recently saw The Neon Demon.
Yeah.
From 2016. I saw it at Metrograph. And one of those movies where you're kind of like, okay, you're getting there, and then like the plot completely goes out for rails.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like a dumb guy movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it serves as something grandeur, or he can't quite figure it out.
What's his name? Nicholas Winding Refn?
Ren? Yeah, Refn? Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, Nicholas Winding Refn. I interviewed him for that movie, and he did not sit still. He walked around the room the entire time.
Manic.
Real weirdo. But I mean, even though I don't think all of his movies are successful in what they're trying to do, he is like a true modern auteur, and that is rare.
Yeah.
So the fact that he can do what he's doing makes me happy, you know?
Yeah, there needs to be more auteurs for certain.
I agree.
For certain, yeah.
And that's part of, I don't love the substance, but I loved that cinema was being talked about by people who weren't cinephiles. You know what I mean? Like, that movie is cinema.
Yeah.
Like it or not, whatever. That is what a movie is. And that was the hot movie for a few weeks that everywhere I went, people were talking about. And I was like, this is awesome. Because this is how the 70s were like that every week.
Yeah.
People would be talking about like Buñuel and you know, what's her name? Like Swept Away. God, what is her name escaping me now? That director, the first woman ever ever nominated for an Academy Award. What is her name? It is Lena Wertmuller.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People would be talking about that stuff the way that people talk about, like, you know, Marvel movies or Wicked or whatever. You know? So
we're going to get to Wicked as well.
Yes.
Something that Rich and I actually disagree on.
Yes, surprisingly, I think. So the return of cinema makes me happy, even though it's kind of not nearly where it should be.
Yeah, you know, I just think we're in a time where it gets harder and harder to get people to go to the movies, and it gets harder and harder for people to see movies because they're getting, you know, kicked off of the list of things that you can see after 4 weeks, right? Or after 5 weeks. And it's just like not enough time for people now, you know?
Well, if I don't go see something opening weekend, the chances are I'm not going to see it. There's like a 90% chance that I won't see it if I don't see it as soon as it opens.
As soon as it comes out,
and that's if I haven't seen a screening. You know, I sometimes go to screenings and sometimes not. There's like, I haven't seen The Monkey yet.
Okay.
So I'll go.
I saw Nora at New York Film Festival, so I was able to kind of like sit with it for a really long time.
Yeah.
You know,
what do you think? I mean, do you want to get into it? Is this the front runner? Do you think? Do you think Honora is the one to beat?
I have a hard time thinking that it's the front runner because the Academy tends to not like Sean Baker and these young, relatively young, I just say, auteurs who are talking about movies about poor people.
Yeah,
I think,
and sex work as well.
And sex work.
Yeah, Poor Things was an Oscar movie.
Yes, but Yorgos contains a certain level of studio, I think, intuitiveness that I think people kind of respect and kind of relate to a little bit more.
Yeah.
Than I think what Baker has going for him. I personally do not like Honora.
I don't like it either.
I'm sorry, but
the first time I watched it, I loved the first half and thought it was the best thing he'd ever done. And was very, as soon as the goons come, I feel like that movie grinds to a halt. those characters spin their wheels. That scene where they walk into the restaurant and then the guy kind of announces to the people on the adjacent dance floor. Why is that not on the cutting room floor? Nothing happens in that scene. Way too much doesn't happen in the last half of that movie to justify its 2 hour and 20-minute running length. And just in general, the turn that it takes. To me, that and then I rewatched it with Brian, with my boyfriend, because like what happens inevitably is I see all this stuff and then he's catching up and I'll rewatch it. And I thought it was even worse the second time. I didn't like any of it the second time. I don't think her performance is that great.
Interesting.
I thought the guy was better. I forget what his name is.
I actually forget. Yeah, I forget what his name, but he's actually giving he is giving a Chalamet like performance when we first got introduced to Chalamet.
Yeah, totally.
As this kind of like bratty teenager, laconic kind of like I'm thinking Chalamet and Lady Bird kind of like style.
Yes, definitely.
He's giving that.
And it's not that I don't like Mikey Madison in that movie. It's just that I don't think that performance is extraordinary in any way.
Yeah.
I think she's good, and I suppose I believe her as a sex worker, and that's about all I can say about it.
Yeah. She has an explosiveness that kind of reminded me of Juliette Lewis a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
But I just don't think Baker is any that good at making movies, quite frankly.
I mean,
or telling stories, I should say, rather.
To me, like, I get very kind of sensitive woke with his stuff because the stakes are really high, I think. If you're talking about these, if you're talking about these groups that are maligned by society, as he's always doing, and he's doing it in an ostensibly sensitive way. There's a kind of pretense to it that I'm not doing an exploitation movie, right? This isn't like a Grindhouse movie about hookers on the corner.
Right.
But then it's like, what is the message of Honora then? Like, you stupid hoe, you you flew too high and you came crashing down into the ocean. That's what that movie does to her. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What?
I know people are like all excited about that ending, and I'm like,
because she, like, I thought that was so ridiculous to give her the love interest from within the kind of goon circle and have her fuck him at the end.
I do think he has a pathos to him. That character, he's actually nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I do think he might be like. It's funny. The two guys, the men are the joke in this movie. Yeah. Right? Obviously. Yeah. Which I have obviously no problem with. Right. But it's funny. Those two guys are actually the best in the movie.
They are the best in the movie. But she didn't need to have like this like romantic interest. It's been like a day or two. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it was like what is even happening? And I don't know. I think that movie is saying like she's nothing but a cheap whore, but it's okay that she's a cheap whore. Yeah. I think that's the message of the movie more than anything. And it's like, okay, sure, I agree.
It is a problem that I've run into Baker with a lot. Yeah. Where, I kind of made a joke that he reminds me of a mediocre drill rapper where the authenticity is there, but like nothing else is there. Right. Where it's kind of just like, all right, like I understand what this movie is trying to convey. Yeah. Tangerine is trying to convey what it's like to be a trans woman in a big city and you're hustling, but that's all there is to this.
Well, that's all. Tangerine, the biggest problem I had with is like you never see where these women sleep. That is an entirely explosive movie.
I think we talked about this when we first met for the first time ever.
We probably did. This is my hill that I will die on. I found that movie so offensive and stereotypical, and it's like, okay, he's making this like acclaimed, supposedly sensitive movie about trans women, and they're both sex workers. Like that, like even at that time, there were even less instances of what's the word that I want? Visibility of representation among trans women, but the one stereotype that has existed since trans women have been in pop culture has been sex worker. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for stereotypes because a lot of trans women do sex work. But to have that be that's what you're giving your characters, the stereotype already puts me at ill at ease. You know what I mean? And to me, there was no interior life of those characters. Very much the same, I think, as Honora. Like, what does she want? What does she want to do? She just wants money? Like, is that all she wants? She just wants money. Then that'll make her happy. I just don't believe that any single person is so single-minded. Like, I think even dumb people have
Yeah.
way more going on.
It's the detail in the work, you know. I had people walk. There were people walk out of my viewing at New York Film Festival. Like, literally walk out.
Wow.
I think that was because more of the violence, which I didn't really have that much of a problem with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I didn't. It didn't hit it for me. It's again that it hasn't hit for me. You know, the Florida Project didn't quite hit for me either.
I like the Florida Project and I like Red Rocket.
Red Rocket's the best one, I think.
But and again, like Florida Project is like, okay, well, I guess at least you show me where they're sleeping. And it did make me think about actually.
And I think Defoe is unbelievable in the Florida Project. It's like a really great supporting performance.
I was actually driving. We were on a road where we stayed in Orlando was not far at all from the Wizard thing that's featured in there, that Wizard store.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just driving by it constantly.
That's awesome. I'm also not a big fan of the iPhone thing at the end as well. No, I mean, I just find we need more. Yeah. You know, I understand why his movies are popular for a certain crowd. Yeah. But I think we need more. Me personally.
I agree.
So yeah.
But I will say that I'm always interested in seeing what he has to say. And that's not I can't say that about every director. So I don't like actively hate him. I will always watch his movies, and there's good stuff in all of them, even the ones that I don't like. Yeah. That's my experience.
No, that's me as well, right? Like I don't completely dismiss him. I just me personally as someone who loves movies and goes to see, I mean, I see a couple a week. Yeah. I just need a little bit more personally.
And what scares me too is like Anora has gotten so much acclaim, especially at Cannes. It was just such a massive hit at Cannes. It's like once you get that kind of acclaim, as a director, many would be like, well, I did it, so I'm just going to stay doing this, and I'm not going to give you more. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, people were, he gets compared to the Safdies a lot, and I understand the comparison. But me personally, when you watch Uncut Gems, there's like an energy and a belief in this world that Adam Sandler, even though it's sociopathic and insane, like there's a belief in this world that he has and that Julia Fox has also. And I just don't feel that with Anora. I don't feel this kind of like energy, a belief, a mystique about it. I don't.
I mean, the Softies with the Julia Fox character, they had her when she was in the apartment right before Adam Sandler gets there, and Rain by Madonna is playing.
Amazing.
I know, it's just such a good, exactly. That is that character exactly. And even though it doesn't say anything concrete about her, it still tells you something about her. Yeah, yeah. It still breathes life into her in a way that I don't see those little character details in Sean Baker's bit. Certainly not in Anora. Anora remains a total mystery to me, the character Annie. It's just like, okay, she's a stripper and she's happy to get money.
When you're watching a lot of these, I'm thinking Dog Day Afternoon, these old kind of Sidney Lumet films where you're kind of looking at day in the life of this working class, low income character, you still see such a big, large bath of humanity. Yeah.
Exactly.
And again, just not really seeing that with Baker. When you watch Dog Day Afternoon and you see how Leon is, or you see how Sonny and his ex-wife and all these different things, these populate the characters. Yeah. And he's not quite doing that yet, I don't think.
And you got to do it when your movie's named after your main character. Yeah. It's a character study.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna go down a list a little bit. I feel like we're not gonna talk about Dune. I don't really have any interest talking about Dune.
Me neither. I like the first one better.
The Brutalist.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I can see the movements. I can see how bad it wants to be a masterpiece.
It definitely wants to be a masterpiece.
It wants to be a masterpiece so bad.
Yeah. And that's what kind of pisses me off, that it feels like people just ate that up. Yeah. People kind of took the suggestion. I'm talking about critics.
It's not Brady Corbett's fault, really. It's just the fault of what the climate is now. Yeah. And because the climate, it's so dire, and we want kind of movies to be great again. Yeah. Yeah. I don't mean to say it like that. Trump way. not in the Trump way, but we want these classes again. We want to feel these things again, right? Yeah. We want to feel this hope and this we want to feel bullish about cinema again. And I think people were like, "Oh, this guy's taking it seriously."
Right.
I just don't think the movie's that good.
I didn't think it was that good either. I didn't like. I thought like a lot of the shots were good, and I was always kind of interested in it, which is saying something for such a long movie.
Yeah.
But
They did a good job with the intermission, I felt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched it. I watched a screener. I watched an awards screener. So the intermission was like 10 seconds long or something like that. They just give you a little insert where it goes and then whatever. The main head scratcher for me is the rape in that movie.
Oh
I thought it was like what? What?
Yeah. No. It's not. It's not subtle.
It's not subtle. That seemed entirely in service of like having a revenge to be taken. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like you're writing your plot before you're writing your plot.
In fact, there is another scene in the film where Joe Alvin's of Taylor Swift fame, his character, he's actually pretty good in this, to be honest. His character obviously clearly sexually assaults the niece, but you don't see it on screen.
Yes, exactly. Right.
And so I wonder, it's like, you just did this unsubtly. Yes. Why do this part in the most unsubtle and in the most ungraceful way?
I totally agree. That's such a great point.
Yeah, very,
very strange the way that's handled, and that to do it at all just seemed like you're really desperate to be doing something.
It's a mistake. I mean, it's a mistake. Also, Felicity Jones at the end being carried out off her wheelchair. It's a mistake. I just feel like I felt the ambition, and I want to salute the ambition, but I just thought there was a lot of mistakes. The acting's good. Guy Pearce is good.
I think Adrian Brody's good.
Yeah.
I imagine The Brutalist is a movie that nobody's going to talk about. Nobody's going to be talking about it in a year, and then never again. It's just one of those movies that kind of exists for the Oscars.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And we might even, it's giving like Costin Gardner, those type of mid 2000s movies. That were like big that year, and then suddenly like no one talks about.
Yeah, whoever is going to be like, oh, I want to watch The Brutalist.
Yeah,
again. Like, who? I can't imagine.
It's like The Artist or something. Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, I can't imagine people are gonna want to watch this.
Still Alice is a big one.
Still Alice, yeah. I actually never saw Still Alice.
Entirely for the sake of
wow, Still Alice. That's a callback.
Yeah.
That's a Julianne Moore.
That's how she got her Oscar.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Where she plays Alzheimer's lady.
Early onset Alzheimer's.
Yes. Yeah. Wow, that's a blast of the past, that one. That's also Baldwin too. Baldwin's also in that.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. All I remember is the Alzheimer's, and she's young.
So sorry, Brutalist, but yeah, sorry. I mean, we're trying to we're kind of playing a game where we're just knocking things out, and then we'll try to feel like, okay, maybe this one we feel good, we'll feel decent about.
Right.
A Complete Unknown.
Yeah, I liked it.
I really liked it.
Yeah,
I must say, I really liked it.
That's the thing too, is that I like to think of myself as somebody who doesn't like the Oscar bait biopic, but I actually love it. It's actually it always works for me.
This
almost always.
One, yeah, because you have really ill will towards Bohemian Rhapsody. Am I correct?
No, I don't have.
You don't have ill will towards it. Okay, I'm wrong about that. Okay,
no, a lot of people do. I thought that Rami Malek deserved the Oscar not for the dialogue, but for the performances, for the stage performances.
Yes, he was very good at the last 10 minutes at the festival. He's unbelievable.
And interspersed throughout as well. And the thing is that movie came out the same year as Her Smell and Vox Lux, and there might have been another one. And it's Elizabeth Moss and Natalie Portman are not pop stars, and you see that as soon as they get on stage. Speaking of Brady Corbett, I saw a screening of Vox Lux, and I asked him after that, is she supposed to be good? Because to me, the way that final concert hits is oh, you fucking hate pop music.
Yeah.
That's why you made this movie, because this is a joke.
People accuse A Star Is Born of hating pop music. Maybe it did, but Vox Lux also hates pop music.
Vox Lux definitely hates pop music. I get why you'd say that about A Star Is Born, because her synth poppy stuff is supposed to be such a joke. So
right. And I do think it is not a good song. The "Why Did You Do That to Me" song that she does that Ally Main does on SNL in that movie.
Right, yeah.
It's not a good song.
Yeah, no,
absolutely right. It's portrayed as Jackson's being a little bit of a pretentious douchebag,
Yes.
but she's also letting these industry people kind of like ravage her sound a little bit.
Exactly.
You know, like I think it's fair. I think it's very fair. Yeah.
But a complete unknown. I mean, I thought he was fun and good and was able to kind of channel Dylan, but also do his own thing, which I think is often if you're not a total doppelganger, you're gonna have to find a character within the icon that you're playing, and he did that.
He does an excellent job of doing that.
He really did.
There's a scene in it where Elle Fanning is kind of like watching TV, and they're asking Johnny Cash like that stupid question where it's like, "What's your genre?" And he's like, "Man, why they ask him this corny shit?" And I felt like I was watching like a New York City teenager. You know, like I thought he was unbelievable, really great.
Yeah.
I've had some complicated feelings about Chalamet and his stardom. I think he's great in Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
I think he's great in it.
Yeah.
I didn't like a lot of other stuff since. I just was like, where is he going? I thought Bones for All was good. But I was just like wondering where he was like really going. I thought Beautiful Boy sucked.
Yeah,
Didn't think it was good at all.
That.
And so I was wondering like, where is he actually going? This kind of reaffirmed my position on him. This is a superstar role.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought the movie was useful too because I'd heard about like Dylan plugged in and really didn't understand what the big deal was. And I still kind of felt like, wow, those folk people are being really precious, and I don't get it really. But at least I understand the story now, having not lived through it, not being a Dylan historian at all. So I was glad that I could come away with like understanding this huge moment in music.
I had heard the Dylan music, but not. I can't call myself a historian, but I've heard a lot of his music.
Yeah.
I love Tombstone's Blues a lot. That's like one of my favorites. Yeah. But no, I mean, I felt that he channeled Dylan, but channeled it in a way where young people in their 20s could really understand him.
Yeah.
You know, and can really relate to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really did like it a lot. I like the music stuff in it. That director's a good director, you know, 4V Ferrari. He also did Walk the Line, James Mangold. Like, you know, he's a solid director. And yeah, you know, what else he's done?
Girl Interrupted.
Okay.
2 films in the X-Men franchise, including the Wolverine. Oh, I guess Wolverine and Logan.
And he did Copland. That's right.
Copland. Yes, that was an early one. Heavy was his first one.
Yeah, he's interesting in that he's done a lot of different genres. And I felt personally that this was one of his best films. I really, really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. I was surprised.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't go to the screening because I had seen Nosferatu that day, and then that screening ended at like 4, and then the Complete Unknown screening was at like 7, and it was like, what am I going to do I'm not going to go home. What am I going to do for 3 hours? Yeah. I ended up sitting in a Joe and the Juice. There were roaches there, which surprised me. I still sat there and just did work, and I was actually like so happy with my choice.
By the way, Nosferatu. Oh my God.
I can't. I mean, what? So when I saw Nosferatu, I was like, okay, flop. Like no, like you know, I saw it ahead of time. I was like, who's gonna watch that? Let alone watch it again. Huge hit. Really, really big hit.
I'm sorry. Like
to me, that movie is nothing.
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's absolutely fucking nothing.
It's
the one perfect shot horror film. We need a break from it.
Yeah. Yes,
like actual serious break from it.
Yes.
Like I left the theater. I was like, why did I just go to see that?
Yeah.
People are talking about Lily Rose Depp was really good. I'm sorry.
I thought it was like Charade's level of performance. I thought
I think she's better than the Idol.
Yeah, I thought so too. But a similar kind of dead-eyed malaise kind of thing. I'm in this, and so it's like, so she has no range.
Yeah.
She's doing what she did in this show about a modern pop star in this thing about when does it take place? In the 1900s, I guess it's the same time around the release of the movie, or the 1800s because of Dracula. Doing the same thing in these different. Come on, like the convulsing, all of that stuff.
I thought Defoe wasn't good.
Convincing at all to me. I didn't think Defoe was good. I didn't think anybody.
I think anybody was good. I'm a Nicholas Hoult fan too.
Yeah, but he didn't show up and did absolutely nothing. So it's just very, very strange to me the way people feel so strongly about that movie. It became a whole thing. Shocked me.
I mean, I feel like I'm talking about it too much because I don't even feel like a negativity towards it that much. I'm just like, you know what? Like, this is not good. Like, another one that I'm going to forget about.
100%. And I really do like Eggers a lot. Robert Eggers. I like him as a person. I've interviewed him a few times. I think he's so smart. I love The Lighthouse.
I did like The Lighthouse.
And I like The Witch. I mean, I thought The Witch had a lot of hype, and I thought the hype was kind of outsized, but I did like it. Northman, I couldn't do anything with. But I was really excited for Eggers' Nosferatu, and then I couldn't believe that like one of his additions was jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
Like what? He is he's like a cinemaniac, and this is what he thinks he needs to bring to the table for Nosferatu.
Yeah,
that disappointed me.
Yeah, no, not great.
Not great.
Conclave.
Yeah, Conclave. I liked it.
I liked it.
I felt cozy watching it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
It reminded me of these like kind of the mid 2000s thrillers that I don't think get made as much anymore, right? Like the stakes are much less, but like it gave me Michael Clayton a little bit, but like much less stakes.
Yeah.
Michael Clayton's obviously a much better movie.
Yeah.
But it had that kind of similar quick runtime with like adults in the room talking, which we always need in movies. We always need like adults in the room like having conversations, and different kind of people. I don't love the ending personally.
Yeah, I liked it, and I thought I knew it was gonna be something. I knew there was a twist, so I knew it was gonna be something with like modern gender conventions and like how that aligns with the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
What I thought was strange is when I guess it's Lithgow's character that gets dismissed for I forget what they inappropriate behavior or something like that. They kind of like tease it, and it's like okay, so it's a molestation scandal, and then it wasn't, and then it wasn't, and then you're talking about the Catholic Church, and you're not talking about that.
I know.
I thought that was a punch pulled.
I once had an argument by AOTY, who's like a huge Catholic, and she was like, everything happens in they do the same thing with other organizations. It's only us people get mad at. I was like, well, AOTY. No. It's I mean, I personally felt that Ray Fiennes was very good, and so was Stanley Tucci. I'm always excited to see those guys in theaters. I would be shocked if it won for some reason.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it won too.
Like, I guess if you break it down, it could win. Like, looking at all these movies, it could win. But I'd be like, damn. Whew.
It has a lot of fans.
Yeah.
Like it was also a kind of viral thing when it was out, so you could see that being kind of applied to this. I'm not sure if it'll do it. I don't really know what's gonna do it, frankly. I don't know I don't know which of these movies is gonna win. I mean, I guess Brutalist is still kind of like what people think the most, and with maybe Anora, people have been talking about Anora as being a front runner forever. Amelia Perez would have been a front runner if all this stuff didn't happen,
I know.
I think.
I guess they can't give it anymore, right?
I guess not. Although, I mean, Zoe Saldana won the BAFTA, right?
Oh my god. My god. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, what is
the first time I saw it, I was stoned, and I was very happy that
Rich smokes weed.
Yes,
guys, he's a weed smoker.
Not to brag. I was very happy that the pacing was relentless, because pacing to me is like a really underrated quality in movies. So if a movie can just keep up what it's doing and not lose its pace and always show me something new, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought it was crazy that it was a narrative about a trans person who was lying about their identity. Again, when we talk about stereotypes, that's another huge one up there. And that it was Mrs. Doubtfire, basically.
Yeah.
And and I know, and I don't know enough about Mexico, but I understand because somebody that I had hung out with after the fact was from Mexico, and he was talking about how what an effrontery of representation he thought this was.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the songs at all. But I go
The music's bad.
Yeah, I go into a musical thinking, okay, I'm not gonna like the songs, and then
Let's talk. Why is that? You think that you go into musicals not not thinking you're going to like the songs?
Because I don't like that kind of music in general. I mean, just to jump ahead to Wicked, I cannot believe the way those songs are produced. Those songs are produced in this like shitty, flabby, early 2000s Broadway version of like rock. And if I were a movie exec, I'd be like, put some synths in there. You like change this. Obviously, that would have been the wrong note because that movie is really successful and people love that music.
Yeah.
That's
what I was about to say.
I could not believe the way that music sounded.
I believe that they wanted to be faithful to
the Broadway show,
to what was on Broadway.
Because Wicked has an army, so you can't disappoint the Wicked army.
Right.
But I will not like music that sounds like that. That sounds bad and wrong to me. So absolutely not. And I just assume that musicals are not going to have that level. They're just not going to be where I am at musically. Yeah. And I care too much about music.
I think A Star Is Born, like, I think one of the best parts about it is, you can say even Shallow was so big.
Yeah.
But the Jackson stuff is, I think, really well done, and so was like the early Alley stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there is a difference between even though they kind of converged in the 80s in the music video era. A Star Is Born, you could call it a musical easily, but it's not the kind of break into song musical that we're talking about, like Amelia Perez, or even to name another Gaga movie, Joker Part 2.
Right. Yeah.
That was miserable. That time, Joker 2 confirms like what everybody hates about musicals, which is that they're aimless and they just start singing for absolutely no reason.
Yeah.
The fact that it used so many songs that were already in existence made it feel like extra irrelevant. Like you're just running out the time.
I know.
You just have to hit the movie running time, to make it a feature.
Yeah, I mean, Joker is one of those things where we talk about it a lot. Me and you, like the Dumb Guy movie.
Yeah,
it's another one of those things where it's just like not really well thought out.
No.
A carbon copy of a lot of better stuff.
Yeah. Do you want to say what you think about Amelia Perez, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll jump to the controversy aspect of it, where she keeps on kind of like digging up more holes for herself.
Yes, and she is the principal actress, Carla Sofia Gascon.
Yes. I didn't think the film was good. I tried to watch it.
Did you finish it?
No.
Okay.
I didn't finish it.
Life's too short to be watching a movie.
Yeah, I just didn't finish it. Part of it was I wasn't in the theater for it.
Right.
So I'm in the house watching it, and I'm just like, nah, I can't do this.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, it's the type of movie that I don't want nominated for Oscars. I don't want these representation or even like fake representation movies nominated. I don't want them nominated. I'm sorry, I don't want them around art.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of talking about it when I wrote about the Grammys. The Grammys don't really matter.
I know.
They don't. They've never mattered. Music doesn't work that way. You can't make a career based off of a Grammy win. It's not what makes careers. Your career's already happened.
Right.
But Oscars, they make careers, kind of.
And they give people a lot of opportunities.
They give people a lot of opportunities. They give people a lot of due.
Yeah.
They do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. It's just the truth, right? The Academy Awards do matter. And so I just don't want movies like this nominated,
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I do think I left it feeling like it was crap, but I enjoyed it. And then again, I rewatched it with Brian and was like, okay, I can't even really make it through this time.
Yeah.
I think it was the shock of its audacity that I really appreciated because it is audacious.
Yeah. They're trying things.
It's out of its head.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't work at all. And it actually, holds enough together to be a movie. But yeah, it was the charm had worn off entirely by the time I rewatched.
I thought we were past that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, after a certain year, I thought we were past that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I thought that the past couple years they had made a concerted effort not to nominate movies like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, here we are, right? Like,
Here we are.
I mean, I'm looking at last year's, and you could only really say Barbie is a representation film.
Right.
But I thought Barbie's a lot better than Emilia Perez, though.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
Like, a lot better.
Yeah.
There's things about Barbie that I didn't like.
Yeah.
I don't think it ends particularly well.
Yeah.
But I think that the stretch where Gosling is running the show, is running the asylum, is really funny.
It's really funny. And
great,
also,
yeah.
I mean, Barbie is a feat. You know, I mean, she built that movie from nothing, from a doll. How do you make this movie about a doll? And she figured it out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot. I always appreciate when somebody figures it out. This happens in horror movies a lot. If you can make a slasher that still works and is like funny and resourceful and clever, that's amazing to me. Bodies, bodies, bodies. She figured out how to make that work. She made it work, you know?
Yeah.
So what was it called? In a Violent Nature. That was the slasher, the kind of slow cinema, even though I didn't find it that slow, that follows the Jayson Voorhees-like slasher for a lot of it. It's through his point of view. That's how you make a slasher work, you know, in 2024. Like, we've seen it all before. You can't just hack up bodies. You got to do something different, but it has to also have hacking up bodies. Made it work. So that always really impresses me.
Absolutely. I will say, I've totally forgot that Everywhere All at Once won a couple years ago, and that is definitely a representation movie.
Yes.
So excuse me, like, maybe this is something that they still want to do.
Yes.
Right?
The thing that I will never get over is Cate Blanchett not winning for Tar.
I know.
That's disgusting to me.
Also, by the way, Michelle Yeoh's like bad and Wicked.
Oh,
her and
crazy.
Goldblum are like bad and Wicked.
Crazy. It's
so
like,
okay, let
have you ever acted before? That is.
Here's my defense of Wicked.
Performance.
Here's my defense of Wicked. I might be the only straight man on the fucking planet that's going to defend this, but I did think Ariana Grande is really, really great. She had me screaming during the film. She's just very, very funny.
Yeah.
She's just very funny. It's one of those bubbly performances that I don't, very Mean Girl-like performance that I don't think we quite get. It was giving Amanda Seyfried in Mean Girls in that type of way, which I love that style of performance, that type of comedic performance. I think what I enjoyed about it is you see a lot of times musicians become actors in a very serious role.
Yeah.
Gaga in A Star Is Born, Ludacris
in the Blues, Diana.
Right, Ludacris in Crash or something. Where I like the fact that she brought some of her personality in her music to this role. Her physical comedy is very, very strong. I thought her chemistry with Cynthia Erivo is great. Like, people joked about the press run, but I think a lot of that's real because it shows in the movie. Their chemistry's off the charts great.
I think it's weird that she sings without any R&B affectation in her voice because Cynthia Erivo's doing melisma and runs and stuff. But Ariana Grande was like, I'm a total white girl for this movie.
Yeah.
What's
my
up with
theory
that?
So my theory is that although it's problematic, she's too pale now.
Yeah. She can't even
she is way too pale now.
Right.
And I think that we should just let her tan again a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit.
Sure.
Because what we're, sorry, but what we're getting now, she looks too pale.
It's
not good.
Her appearance is often concerning to me.
Yeah.
Not to troll or anything like that, but it's like, what's going on with her? Although, she does, you know what? I will say that her mental state, like, she is sharp. In those interviews, even when she's acting weird, she's being sharp. The interviews, the infinite press tour for Wicked, that was just her. It's crazy that they talk to like every outlet.
I know they talk to every outlet.
Like,
yeah,
this is one of the biggest movies of the year. She's A-list. Cynthia Erivo's on her way up, and they talk to anybody.
Yeah, this is the year. This is not a year of movies. It's a year of press tours.
Yes.
I think Chalamet's press tour has been great.
Right.
I don't know if I don't know if you've been keeping up with it because it's been a little bit sport
I've
heavy.
seen people talk about it.
It's been a little manosphere and sport heavy.
Right.
So it's not quite your niche, but he's been great. He went on Theo Von. He went to College Game Day, which is a college football pregame show. He's been going to Knicks games. Yeah, he's been great. Him and Kendrick did like an interview together.
Yeah.
He's been talking about how he was a Little B fan. He saw Little B come to his school, and he's been kind of talking about how he knows ball just as much as us internet kids do.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very pleasant to watch, right? Like obviously there's a marketing aspect to it, but I did see like a real person who does know ball.
Yeah.
He's in True Religion pants, he's sagging. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Yeah. So yeah, Wicked, look, the performances are very, very good.
Yeah.
And although I can't consider myself a capital A acting fan, I did really, really like the performance. I thought the direction was bland. No, as somebody who loved Spielberg's West Side Story, that's what I wanted more for Wicked.
I totally agree. That movie is just about perfect.
But I did not think the direction was good.
No, and it's like when you bring this world and it looks so similar to The Wizard of Oz, you can't help but compare what you're seeing to The Wizard of Oz, which is almost, I mean, it's over 80 years old and looks better than Wicked.
Yeah.
Is more inventive, goes like The Wizard of Oz goes on beyond what you see. It allows itself to colonize your mind, and it becomes this world that I just did not see in Wicked at all. A lot of the stuff was just not imaginative to me. It was this kind of gesture of imagination, this gesture of magic. To me, just I think this is what I said to you immediately after. It just felt like a Marvel movie musical to me. That's just what it felt like.
That's a rip right there.
That's a rip.
That's a rip right there.
I did not. I really do not like Wicked at all. But I did think that Cynthia was good.
Yeah.
I was less charmed by Ariana. But I mean, I like to see her and stuff.
Yeah.
I would not have nominated her for an Oscar.
Really?
For an Oscar.
So
Ariana, no. Cynthia's, I'm fine with.
We will get to Best Supporting Actress a little bit soon. I would give it to her.
Okay, she might get it.
I think she's gonna get it. I hope so.
Variety says she's gonna get it.
Yeah.
But we can see what Gold Derby's saying.
Nickel Boys.
Yeah, loved it.
There are things that I don't love about it. I will say a movie like this could have been Oscar bait, and a few years ago it would have been.
Right.
5 or 10 years ago it would have been Oscar bait.
Right.
It's not here though. So I think everyone deserves credit for that.
Yeah.
It would have been Oscar bait 5, 10 years ago.
It's a tough movie.
It's a tough movie, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
let me
not
ask you a
an
question.
easy time.
Nickel Boys or Moonlight?
Moonlight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
I don't think by that much.
No. Nickel Boys is so novel and does so many things with empathy.
I think they're both slightly overrated.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah.
But I do think Moonlight's better. And I'm saying that because Moonlight won Best Picture. Right. Different year, but Moonlight won Best Picture, and I'm wondering why Nickel Boys hasn't gotten the same leg up as Moonlight has gotten.
Moonlight had the gay thing, so
Mahershala Ali is also unbelievable in Moonlight.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's like a performance like that in Nickel Boys where it's not that type of movie.
That's the issue because you're watching from the perspective of the character, so that acting that goes into it is you're behind that character's eyes, and then everything else is kind of secondary. So I did think that the mom was particularly good. I found her moving, and I felt her soul
in Nickel Boys.
I say the mom. I don't know what the actress's name is. I forget. I forget what the character's name is. Let's see.
Ellis Taylor, Mrs. Ellis Taylor.
Yes. She was.
And Janu Ellis Taylor.
Right. She's Elwood's grandmother, actually.
Yes, Elwood's grandmother. Yeah, Haiti. Yeah.
All of that was like really beautiful and heart-wrenching to me, and I thought that she was just incredible because you never see it from her perspective. So whenever she's on screen, she's on screen.
Yeah, she's great. The hug scene, I think, is like one of the more moving scenes in the beginning of the film, or it's towards the middle of the film.
Yeah.
I liked it. I think, again, in a different 5-10 years ago, that could have been an Oscar bait movie, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Like Ramel Ross does a really good job I think, of having a central vision and keeping that vision throughout the film.
Talk
I
about
think,
auteur.
yeah, I think the twist is very good.
Yeah.
I thought that the camera work makes it a slightly impersonal.
Yeah.
But I think it pulls. I think by the end I was just like, fuck, this got me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
this moved me very much.
Yeah.
And so I gave it 4 out of 5 on my letterbox.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stand by that. I gave Moonlight a 4 out of 5 as well. I think I think they're different movies, but they're also somewhat similar.
Yeah.
Because they're quote unquote important movies, but made in an auteur's lens still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't quite always get to see that. So I do think it deserves a lot of respect. I hope everyone goes and watches it. I personally don't love it, and I've seen people say that this is a new American style. We'll see.
We'll
know,
see.
yeah, we'll see. Again, I also, it reminds me of Zone of Interest last year. Whereas I think you love Zone of Interest.
I love Zone of Interest as much as you could love a movie that portrays hell
Nazism
on Earth.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's hard, like and love feel like the wrong words, but respect, and I thought that was the best movie. Nothing kind of stayed with me like that.
Yeah.
Nothing this year stayed with me like that.
Yeah.
To me, Zone of Interest is just like no-brainer. Absolutely, that's what I want in a movie.
I don't love it as much as you do.
Yeah.
Like I respect it a lot.
Yeah.
But I again felt it was a little impersonal, and I understand why people
Definitely.
think that about Nickel Boys as well. I just think a specific style that I have is just, as a viewer, is different than I think what people who like Zone of Interest and Nickel Boys are going for.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited about the Criterion Channel putting up like directed by Michael Mann month. Like, you know what I mean? That's
me
like
too.
my type of like, I know.
Have you seen Manhunter?
No.
Oh, you should.
That's
watch
like the
it.
one I've like not seen.
Now's the time.
Now's the time,
Putting it
yeah.
back up. Manhunter is so amazing.
They're putting up Ali too,
Yeah.
which I love.
Yeah.
Love Ali. Love Collateral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heat. They're putting up Heat. They're putting up Thief. You know, they're putting up all of the classics. I don't know if the Insider's there, but I guess maybe they will be putting up the Insider as well.
I think
yeah?
the Insider is there.
Love
Yeah.
the Insider. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, out of all these, I can see it'd be cool if Nickel Boys won.
It would be really cool if it won.
I think I would probably give it to Complete Unknown, to be honest.
That would be your personal choice.
That would be my personal choice. It sounds crazy to say it, this biopic, but I think it's the most enjoyable time I had in the theater all year. So,
I mean, it's none of these movies I like A Complete Unknown and Conclave, but like none of them are making me want to give out a trophy.
yeah.
I mean, even The Substance, like I probably would give it to The Substance, honestly, even though I have a lot of issues with that movie, including
What are your issues?
Oh, it just doesn't know its own rules.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so it's typified in the scene where she's watching herself on TV and she's getting all mad at herself, and the Margaret Qualley version of her is talking shit about her, and it's like, but wait, if there isn't a vicarious experience in which you take this shit and then you become younger and get to experience life like that, what is the point of having a doppelganger out there that you're not absolutely connected to in terms of the experience? That's the only way that the movie works. It's the only way it makes sense to do this crazy shit in the first place. And I understand that scene, it can kind of like abstractly illustrate inner conflict, but you have to be able to do both. You have to be able to do the symbolism and also make logical sense within your own world that you're constructing. And I don't think that movie does that.
I thought it was similar to The Wife. Remember The Wife from a couple years ago?
Yeah.
An elder actress
Yes.
in a movie that's getting buzz for a really good central performance.
Yeah.
All this hoopla about their career and what it means. But I just,
Yeah.
not there.
Oddly enough, and I usually hate that kind of award giving out, but for whatever reason, I'm happy to see Demi Moore probably get it for this.
Yeah.
You know?
You think she probably gets it for this?
I think she probably gets it for this. I think it would be a huge upset if she didn't.
You think it's an upset over? You think Mikey Madison winning would be an upset over?
I think at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
With the Golden Globe, that was such a moment, and all. I mean, Demi has been I haven't been keeping up with every single awards show, but she's been winning pretty consistently.
Yeah.
I guess Mikey might have won the BAFTA. I think I saw her with the award. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think like Demi Moore, like, I mean, she's bad in a lot of movies. I don't think that she's bad in this. I think she's actually great in Ghost. That's like one of the old movies, but like there's a lot of movies that she's not good in at all and kind of sticks out. And
A Few Good Men, not good.
Yeah, she's just kind of, she's always good to look at, but rarely good to watch.
Yeah.
But this, I feel like, is her shot. Mikey Madison, I think, gets other shots.
Yeah.
Just by virtue of where she is in her career.
Best Actor, we got Brody Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Ray Fiennes, Sebastian Stan for playing President Donald Trump.
I mean, I do think that he's amazing.
I do think he's very good at it. I do, yeah.
I think it's Brody's category to lose. I don't know if I would necessarily give it to him.
I mean, I'd give it to Chalamet.
Yeah, I'd rather see Chalamet win.
Chalamet should have won when he was 17 for Call Me By Your Name, but they decided they wanted to give it to Gary Oldman for playing Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour.
Okay, right. Yeah. Another movie that died on the vine. I mean, like,
no one's gonna remember that.
No one's gonna remember that. Who's gonna watch that?
Best Supporting Actor is Yuri Borisov for Honora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice.
This is a pretty strong category to me.
This is the strongest category we have. Best Supporting Actor.
This is a hard choice. I think like my heart says Jeremy Strong. I don't think he's gonna win. I think it goes to Kieran Culkin, but like everybody's saying.
Yeah.
But if I ruled the world, Jeremy Strong would be winning that.
I actually think Norton's really great in
I think Norton's really great too, and I think Guy Pearce is great in Brutalist too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and as we've talked about, Yuri Borisov is also good.
I think that Kieran Culkin is slightly overrated in A Real Pain.
Yeah, I get that.
Slightly. I think he's a good actor.
He's a good actor. He's kind of spinning his wheels with this one.
But someone said someone said that it's funny that he's getting that he's playing slacker Roman Roy.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was very funny. He's playing like Roman Roy, but slacker. Yeah. But I do think he's a good actor. I actually think Jesse Eisenberg's actually better than him.
Yeah.
He has the role that I think it's one of those things where 5 years from now we'll realize that Jesse Eisenberg is actually secretly better.
Yeah.
I would probably give this to Edward Norton personally.
Okay.
I think Edward Norton's very good as Pete Seeger in A Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
Best supporting actress. We said I personally would give it to Ariana. I don't know. What are you thinking?
I would love to see Isabella Rossellini get it, but as more of a lifetime achievement kind of thing, because she's really not doing that much in that movie. I know, it's kind of insane that she was not doing it, but she's had the buzz all along. This was a foregone.
I'm surprised his name escapes me, but I'm surprised that the priest that gets kicked out for the affair when he was 20 or 21, when he was a young man.
Oh, right.
I'm surprised he's not nominated as well.
That's not John Lithgow. That's
not. That's not John Lithgow. That is. No, it's not John Lithgow. That is Lucien Masmanti.
Okay.
Yeah. Zimbabwean actor.
Oh, right. Yes, that's right. Yeah, he's incredible.
He's great.
Oh, I totally bought him.
Yeah, he's great.
I didn't think twice about it. I was like, yeah, that's a priest. That's totally what that guy is.
Yeah, he's unbelievable, I think, but not nominated.
No. I think Zoe is going to get this, by the way, at least in terms of Gold Derby. All of their experts, except for one so far, two now, are giving it to Zoe with Ariana in second place. So it could happen. There's 3 for Ariana, but it's like over a dozen for Zoe.
Yeah, it's such a bad year for movies.
It's a bad year for movies.
It was not a good year.
No.
Snubs.
Yeah.
I would go. I mean, for me, Nicholas Hoult in juror number 2. That's a snub. And then Marianne Jean Baptiste for Hard Truths. That's a huge snub.
Huge snub.
That is a huge snub.
That performance is so amazing. I do think, like, I'm not surprised that the movie itself was snubbed because it's Mike Lee, and it could come off as kind of slight. It's a very, very specific character study of a kind of everyday person.
Mm-hmm.
But just to study, because I live next door to a woman that's like that.
Yeah.
It's just nasty.
Yeah.
And it's really hard in the moment to think about her humanity and what made her that way. And this movie is interested in that.
I don't think so. Me personally, I don't think it needs to show, this familial trauma schism that it shows towards the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it could just be you're interpreting this woman as a Caribbean woman in a sea of white supremacy, right? And it's,
sure.
Right?
Sure,
or in a
definitely.
sea of, maybe white supremacy might be too thick, but in a sea of this white British world that she's in, and she's just like kind of struggling to maintain her veneer, her kindness in that, I think as a viewer it could just be that.
Mm-hmm.
There's always people in neighborhoods like that are life has hit them and they're just like that.
Yeah.
I don't think we quite needed the whole. I think for a lot of viewers that's important.
Yeah.
Me personally, I did not think I needed the scene with them at the
sister's house.
Sisters. Oh no, I more meant the funeral.
Funeral.
Cemetery rather. Yeah, I more meant the cemetery. But I think she's great.
I think she's great too.
Snub.
Yeah. Like just wild snub.
Beats me. Yeah.
Because the best actress category really could have had room for her.
Yeah.
Fernanda Torres. I haven't seen I'm Still Here, so maybe that's great, whatever. But like
the Best Actress award last year I actually thought was a really good list, right? The best actress is always for me a very tough list. Personally, it's been like that for a while, but I thought last year was good. Last year we have Stone, who eventually wins for Poor Things, and that betting for that Netflix movie that no one saw.
Right.
Lily Gladstone, Clears of the Flower Moon, Sandra Huller, Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan, Maestro. Right. So I think it's always been hard for the past 5 years with Best Actress, but last year was pretty good. This year, I don't think it's good.
Yeah.
Best Actress is always like this. It's been like this since I was a kid, where I'm always kind of struggling with a lot of these, and that's a testament to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And the inopportunity that I think a lot of women get for like good movies in Hollywood.
Yeah.
2022, you got Michelle Yeoh, who wins. Crazy. Cate Blanchett, Tar, which is a performance that's going to last us a lifetime,
exactly.
right?
Gross injustice.
Michelle Williams is very good in The Fabelmans, I think.
Yes.
Blonde, Anna de Armas, who plays Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
That movie has a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I don't quite think it's as bad as everyone thinks it is, but it does have a lot of issues.
Yeah. That was kind of like the Amelia Perez of its year.
Of its year, right? That's amazing to think about.
Against it, yeah.
2021, again, this is like a tough year, right? Where you get Jessica Chastain for Eyes of Tammy Faye.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see that.
I thought she was amazing.
Really? Yeah. Okay, I'll check it out.
That movie, again, with the biopics, I really like The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
I would have given it. See, this goes Olivia Colman, The Lost Daughter. I would have given it to Olivia Colman. I think she's great in The Lost Daughter.
She's good in that movie.
Kristen Stewart for Spencer.
Spencer. Oh, right.
When she plays Diana.
Kristen Stewart. Yes, yeah. Kristen Stewart. I was thinking, okay, I got it. I was thinking Kirsten Dunst. I was like, what?
Penelope Cruz, Parallel Mothers, Nicole Kidman being the Ricardos. It just, we always get diminishing returns for this Best Actress list.
Yeah, although I liked Nicole Kidman a lot in that movie.
Okay.
That's another one, again, with the biopics. I like that one, too. That was when she played Lucy.
I wonder, did you like Renee Zellweger in Judy?
I love Judy.
This is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Rich is the most interesting man in the world.
Just the biopics, I can't get enough.
That's amazing.
I'm like fundamentally against them until I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, this is great.
Okay, my favorite. Okay, let's go to favorite. So that's funny. I'm not a biopic fan.
Yeah.
My favorite, I guess it's probably. I mean, we're talking. Are we talking musical biopics? Or are we talking
everything.
anything? Okay, so my favorite's probably Will Smith and Ali.
Okay.
My favorite's probably Ali, if that counts.
Malcolm
But Ali
X.
Malcolm X. Malcolm X is. I mean, Denzel Malcolm X is unbelievable.
To me, like Malcolm X is the standard of the kind of Oscar bait biopic, serious prestige movie.
Yeah. The colors in that movie are unbelievable when he's Detroit Red.
Scale of it, just the grandiosity of it.
It's amazing. Yeah, Malcolm X is probably the best biopic there is. I mean, I like Val Kilmer in the Doors as well. Yeah, that's a very good one for me. It always. Did you see the Amy Winehouse?
I didn't.
You
no.
didn't.
That one's supposed to be awful.
Really? Okay. I never saw it. It's my girl from industry, so it's Yasmin from industry. Right. So I wanted to support it, but I never got a chance to actually see it.
I've been meaning to watch it, but it's apparently a hard one to sit through.
Yeah, I mean the biopic thing's always been tough for me. But there's always once in a blue moon where I'll check it out and I'm like, okay, I really like this. They've won a lot of Oscars for them. I mean, just like Hollywood loves them. Yeah. Like Jamie Foxx and Ray winning over Leo in The Aviator, which is, I guess Aviator is also a biopic.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot what else is nominated that year, 2004, but I believe. Let's see.
Was that the year? No, that wasn't the year of the.
That is Clint Eastwood and $1 Million Baby, which is I probably give it to Clint. Leo in The Aviator, Johnny Depp in Finding Neverland, and Don Cheadle in Hotel Rwanda. Wow, this is a tough list. And Jamie Foxx and Ray, tough list.
Yeah.
I probably give it to Leo or Clint, maybe even Clint. Clint's that movie is one of my favorites from Clint Eastwood, but always tough the biopic.
Yeah, I agree. It is.
Always.
I like him. And another snub I thought was Queer. I mean, not that I expected people to get it, but just in terms of what that movie is doing with adaptation, it hews so close to the book, and then just diverges so much too. It's like queering the act of adaptation itself.
Yeah, and
I think like the fact that how do you say his last name? Kirkides. It's Luca's writer. Let me see if I can pronounce his name. I interviewed the guy.
Yeah,
I didn't say his last name. Kurtzikis.
Yeah, Justin.
Justin Kurtzikis.
Justin Kurtzikis.
I think.
Sorry for getting that name wrong.
Yes, absolutely amazing adaptation, and I think for best adapted screenplay alone, that should.
I mean, Luca snubbed for Challengers. Challengers is a better movie than any of the Best Picture lists.
I totally agree.
Like that includes
talk about pacing.
That includes Nickel Boys. Probably, I would probably.
I'll watch Challengers again. I don't know if I'll ever watch Nickel Boys again.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Challengers was. I'm a Zendaya. I'm hard on Zendaya.
Yeah,
I'm very hard on Zendaya.
Yeah.
I thought Josh O'Connor is unbelievable in that film. He's not nominated, but he's the best supporting actor.
Right. Yeah.
And
just to like
Mike Fass is also very good in it. It's one of those.
Good.
It's very Albert Brooks in Broadcast News. Mike Fass's performance, I felt.
And just that it's about intimacy among men with like a little bit of sexuality, but not really a lot. I really just appreciated that whole thing about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was.
It's a great movie.
It's also a very good sports movie.
Yeah, it is.
It is a sports movie at heart.
Yes.
And it's a
100%.
very good sports movie.
Right. It has the pacing of a tennis match, and that's amazing.
And it's about the love of tennis, right? It's about Tashi's love of tennis and them pitting that against each other.
Yeah.
She even says, I just want to see some good fucking tennis, right? That's like the only thing she actually really wants and cares about.
Yeah.
And Queer is very good.
It took a lot. Like, I saw Queer, and then I reread the book, and then I watched it again because I wrote about it, and I interviewed everybody, basically. So it took a lot for me to appreciate that movie, and I understand that people don't have the patience. A lot of people leave that movie being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I ended up with a great appreciation of that movie. I think it's really special, and it sucks that it wasn't.
Do you think Daniel Craig should be nominated for Best Actor?
Yeah, I would. I thought that he was really, really good, for sure. Who would I kick out for him? I would kick out. Well, I didn't see Sing Sing. But Ray Fiennes could go.
Could go, yeah. I mean, even Sebastian Stan could probably go.
I mean, he's good, but but yeah.
I feel like maybe there needs to be. Do you think there should be I'm wondering if there should be a rule about you getting nominated if your movie stinks.
Oh well, I mean, but that's such a
it's hard, right? Yeah, it's so subjective, right?
Like,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting when there's like a weird movie that
it's bad, but the performance is very good. Yeah. It's more. I guess that those are more interesting than the ensemble stuff that usually gets nominated.
Yeah, or even if the movie's not bad, but like something like Misery, obviously nobody ever thought that was going to win any Oscars, and then Kathy Bates swooped in there.
I know, because she's so good in it.
She's
right?
so good
like,
in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how much of those have happened in the past year? I'm not sure. Or the past years.
There's not a lot of kind of eccentric
choices like that. I mean, I'm looking. I guess Will Smith and King Richard would be one, right? Where the movie's not.
I didn't even think he was that great in that movie.
Oh my God, Brandon Fraser went for The Whale. That's right.
That's another one.
That's they've gotten this. They've gotten this right one time. I think in the past 5 or 6, 7 years, and I would say that's Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. That is truly an amazing performance.
Yeah, I probably do. I would give it. I think Joaquin Phoenix wins for Joker. I would have given it to Leo that year from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
A movie that we disagree on, but
right. Yeah, I don't like that movie.
Yeah, I mean,
but I do kind of want to watch it again. I like Tarantino a lot.
I think Leo's unbelievable in that movie. So funny. A lightning ball of fire in a way James Cagney used to be.
Yeah.
And an underrated thing about Leo, I think, all these years is that he's very funny in his films. Very, very funny. Yeah. He's always at his best when he's allowed to be funny.
Yeah.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, that one's Catch Me If You Can.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like when he's allowed, I think, to move and be charming and funny and kind of like a free safety and fuck shit up. Like that's when Leo's at his best, I think. So, really, really, really love that movie.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk to you about Beyonce winning album of the year.
Yes.
Let's pivot.
Okay.
What were your feelings on that night? Because she has obviously deserved this for many, many years.
Yeah.
I don't think for this album personally.
No, it was like a lifetime achievement kind of.
Yeah, which fucking sucks because Beyonce should not be getting lifetime achievement. She should have got it for B-Day. She should have got it for self-titled. There isn't a pop record better than self-titled.
I totally agree. I would have given it to her for self-titled. Lemonade was the year that people really felt. And that's fair.
Adele apologized for winning it that year.
She did. And Lemonade was such a cultural event. That's not a record that I go back to a lot of songs on and never have really liked a lot of songs on it.
Me neither.
I like the R&B songs on it.
Yeah. I love Don't Hurt Yourself.
I don't even like that one.
You don't like that one?
No, I love Love Drought.
Okay.
And Hold Up. And Formation, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the other one that I like a lot?
Daddy Lessons?
No.
No.
The other one that's kind of similar to Hold Up.
It is like Sorry. Yes. I am sorry. Yes, that's right.
But it's not. This isn't the record that I go back to.
It's not for me either. Yeah. But I do like that cultural event. There will be nothing like it.
No, and it means a lot to a lot of Black women too. Yeah. So like, I don't want to underrate that aspect of it.
Of course. Like for me, the music's the best on the self-titled.
Yes, me too.
Like
it's incredible.
Oh my God.
I wish.
Oh my God. Partition. Rocket. I think Rocket may be her best song
Rocket's
ever.
Crazy. I always liked Mine a lot. Haunted. And what's the one after Haunted? The kind
Flawless?
Of like it's like the it's kind of rapped, but it's more kind of like chanted, kind of spoken.
Which one is that one?
God, what is it? I'm trying to think of what she says in it. Okay, wait. It's Haunted. Oh wait, why is it not?
Oh, Drunken. So it goes Pretty Hurts, Haunted,
But there's a second part of
Ghost. Yeah. Yeah.
That Ghost is amazing to me. You
Yeah.
know, Flawless 2, Beyonce, Blow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, come on. There's
that album's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
The production's unbelievable. The what she's trying to convey about marriage.
Yeah, I know. Totally.
And what it could possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think that's what her marriage is like.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably.
I mean, we don't know. We never know about them.
No.
We never know these things
and I
ever
wouldn't
about
trust
them.
them if they told me.
Right. I wouldn't either. Right. Like.
But it is interesting because it's like it is her sexual blossoming album. Like just about every pop star has one,
Mm-hmm.
but this one is about like specifically that marriage and monogamy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not this kind
So
of like
you wouldn't say that Renaissance is her sexual blossoming album?
no, because there's so much sex on the self-titled album.
Yeah.
So it's like that's her moment that she does that.
Right. It's sex in the back of Maybachs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
After business deals.
Yeah.
Like that's what that album's like about.
Drunken Love on the
Mm-hmm.
Floor, Rocket is a sex song. You know, that's her. This is her kind of like passage, her maturity into a sexual woman as a pop star. You know, and everybody's had one pretty
Yeah.
much. Janet, Madonna, Rihanna, Britney. You know, they've all kind of. Miley's was the weirdest. Miley's was the VMAs when she came out with her tongue all over the place. I mean, that was one of those moments that
Miley, surprisingly, she looked great, I felt.
She did.
At the Grammys.
Yeah.
She's like kind of like matured into this regular kind of celebrity life.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm never mad at her, really.
Yeah.
Even when she was doing the twerking and the cultural appropriation stuff, I was like, well,
she's the Little Yachty of, or I guess Little Yachty is the her of rap.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Where it's like, it can be frustrating, but you know what? She's trying things.
Yeah,
she's throwing stuff at the wall.
Exactly. She did a whole album with the Flaming Lips.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, Cowboy Carter is not, that's another one. I mean, I like the last quarter of that album a lot. But I felt like, okay, if they're ever going to give it to her, they're going to give it to her when she made this country album, this kind of like traditionalist, you know, white associated music that Grammy voters take more seriously in general than hip hop or R&B. Obviously, there are exceptions, not like us being a great one.
Yeah.
That, I mean, to me, that's crazy that song won what it did, but it did what it did. It's that I talk about cultural moments.
Yeah, I talk about cultural moment.
Come on,
I got my issues with a lot of the cultural moment surrounding that song.
Me too.
I think Kendrick's is an unbelievable rapper.
He's an
obviously.
unbelievable rapper. Absolutely.
You know,
So
I
it's
marvel
great to see him awarded.
Yeah, I mean, I marvel at the lyrical menace, pop instincts.
Yes.
Production that surrounds that record. It's
Right.
a culmination of a lot of different things that people love about Kendrick.
Definitely.
I don't give a shit.
No.
I'm sorry.
Also calling Drake a pedophile, and I know that people. I know in my heart that people are. Most people don't believe that. They believe that that's such a burn that it's amazing.
Yes.
But still,
what the diss is really great at is it takes things that surrounded Drake for many years.
Yeah.
Innuendos, false rumors, jokes that have surrounded Drake's orbit for many years, and it packages it all into one.
Yeah.
So it calls him a pedophile, calls him a colonizer, all these things that people feel about him that obviously aren't true.
Yeah.
It's like Drake's not a colonizer, he's just an artist. But people feel these really, you know, people cannot imagine a rap world without Drake's boot on people's neck for some reason.
Yeah.
And so I think Kendrick was able to put all these things in one song, and that really resonated with a lot of different people. Good. Not for me.
No. And even the division at the heart of the message, which I think people are responding to the most, right? Yeah. If you take kind of the Drake away from the equation, it's a song about like, you're not cool. There's you and there's us.
Yeah. It's hip hop as birthright, which I don't.
It's it harmonizes way too well with the times.
This is a black genre, obviously. Yeah. And so clearly, I mean, this is the most significant. I believe this is the most significant genre of American life in the past 30 years, right? I mean, I think we're in a really down period with hip hop right now. It's like, right, in terms of its significance, it's so niche, it's so male oriented, unfortunately, to the point that people see if one female rapper doing something and they're like, great. I like Doechii a lot.
I like her a lot too.
Yeah. And so I don't quite mean her,
right? But there's other examples.
But there's other examples, right?
Like Lotto's success,
right? It's Megan's. Personal life notwithstanding, her success has always been weird to me, right?
Yeah.
To the point where I've always understood Nicki's irritation, right? I've always I understand why she's irritated at a lot of people bigging up female MCs because I just don't think there's that many of them.
Nikki is, she's so talented. It's just a shame that she has no taste.
Yeah,
that's her downfall. I mean, her discography could have been.
Romans Reloaded has the first 10 songs on Romans Reloaded. The rap songs are unbelievable. Champion, Come on the Cone, Bees in the Trap. Those songs are great.
Is that also one about the strippers? I salute these strippers.
Maybe. Let's see. Romans. Yeah, check that out.
Wait, Roman's Revenge.
Romans Reloaded.
Romans. She has so many different kind of spin. Okay, Pink Friday. So there's Pink Friday, Roman Reloaded, and there's also Pink Friday 2.
Yes.
Which is actually Pink Friday 3 if you count.
Right, if you count Reloaded. So Reloaded starts, Come on the Cone, I Am Your Leader.
I Am Your Leader.
With Cameron and Rick Ross, which is great. Bees in the Trap, great. Yes, classic. Legit classic
that's
single.
That's a go-to karaoke song for me.
Really? I would love to see you do that karaoke. We should do that one day. Okay. Champion.
She taught us to rap.
Yeah. We're getting kicked out. And then Starships, and then the rest of the record is bad.
Yeah.
And it's the dance pop that she clearly can't do and has no taste about. And it's
it's a mark on her legacy, I think.
Yeah. So I mean the pop. We're wrapping up here, but the pop. Yeah. I mean, what's Beyonce winning for me was a culmination of a lot of different things that the Grammys has not done well.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
I actually personally would have given it to Sabrina personally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're not a fan of Sabrina's record?
I like her okay. You know what song I don't like at all? Bedchem.
Okay. I like Coincidence a lot.
I don't know if I remember.
It reminded me of like the small moments in life where you're like really into a girl, but you don't know when to make a move, or you run into an ex at the supermarket. Her music's very lighthearted in that way. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would you have given it to?
What was
it was Chapel, Rones, The Rise of the Midwest Princess, Beyonce, Sabrina.
Oh, I would have given it to Andre 3000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the only record in there that I actually listened to a lot, more than once.
Interesting.
I love ambient jazz.
Yeah,
and, I love that he did that.
Awesome. You heard it here first.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We did it.
Bye. Great.
Okay. Oh, shit. Stop recording. Yes.